Good morning, another Beachside Broadcast. Bit of a gloomy day. The sun will come out, it always does. So, we often get asked the question, how is the market? It's such a broad question. Do we mean now? Do we mean in the future? Which market? Do we mean a sub-market? All markets are a composite of sub-markets. I mean, for example, you take the stock market, right? It seems to go up every year, the S&P 500, but actually only 3% of companies generate value, okay? So it's all about powerful sub-markets. And I think we're in a powerful sub-market. And the reason I say that is somewhat anecdotally, right? So in the past few weeks, we've managed to get a number of offers accepted. And speaking to my business partner operating the Mijas area, unfortunately, people find it quite overpriced over there. So they seek value coming down here. So in the past few weeks, we've had Danes with offers accepted, Belgians, Hungarians, Brits, and hopefully another Brit today. So it's all about the sub-markets. There are winners and losers, and we're very fortunate. Now, generally speaking, how do I think the market's going to do? Well, interestingly, the past few weeks, inquiries have been about properties with a short-term rental license. So that sort of infers to me that there's some investors who want to rotate capital out of their home markets and put it into Spanish property to rent out, okay? Now, obviously, the recent law says the property has to have the tourist license in place already. On a macro scale, God, I totally underestimated the power of AI. We're seeing job cuts for places like Amazon, Novo Nordisk, UPS. So the impact is happening much faster than I ever thought. What does that mean for the future? Again, winners and losers. I can imagine markets in certain areas where white-collar workers commute to suffer in the next few years. And I can imagine as the rich get richer, sad truth, but it's the truth, an uncomfortable truth, places like Soto Grande will do well because people want to come to nice, secure areas. They want to know there's a lot of amenities, good schooling and things like this. And yeah, we're seeing that. So Niwa, above 20 million sold. Aqua, I think it's a 14 million villa sold. So people are coming to these sorts of areas. And if you're in the commuter belt, it's good for the economy. I really believe that. Velocity of money. Money flows through the system about 4 times. Someone wealthy goes out for dinner, spends 100 euros. That restaurant can pay their staff, that 40 euros to the staff, then goes through the system. They buy their local groceries. The local grocery store does all right. They can pay their suppliers. And it's all about money flowing through a local economy. So we can keep our friends who operate these restaurants with strong, sustainable businesses. And yeah, there's going to be a massive impact with AI. And if you're not in AI, or perhaps you're going to be affected, you are a white-collared worker, you need to hedge your position, you need to get in. And everyone will say, oh God, AI is such a bubble. NVIDIA, I think it's a 4.8 trillion company now. And people say, oh, it's overpriced. It's not. Last I looked, it has a PE ratio lower than Costco. Again, I'll post some data. And then down the road, will the market continue to go like this? Well, for 2026, I think it will. Why is that? We're at the start of a mother of all liquidity injections. You can only refinance debt if you increase liquidity. And a guy I follow, Mike Hull, Cross-Border Capital, we're only really at the start of a liquidity cycle. Again, I'll post some charts. So, picking winners and losers, that's what this is all about. We're lucky that we're at an end that still has value for money. As crazy as that sounds, but everything is relative. If you're coming from the States, it's cheaper here. If you're coming from Marbella, it's cheaper here. And people get wise to that. And that's why demand increases. So, of course, there's over-exuberance from some owners. I mean, we've got a beautiful property in the B zone at 950. The neighbor's on at 1.7. And the other neighbor bought at a similar price point to the one we have and is now refurbishing it. So I still think you can get value, relative value. But you need to speak to someone who knows how to find it for you. So that's the macro story, the micro story. How is the market? well, our sub-market, although anecdotally, is still doing okay. Thank you. So that's that.